Welcome to Info Gamer. My name's Mark. Sorry, it's been a while since we got a video out. I'm actually in Denver right now in a hotel room. And check out the view that I've got. Yeah, it's not very good. Let's get started creating those 2D art assets for Hill Climber 2. We're going to do the tires today, and let me know what vehicle you want me to do tomorrow that we can throw into Unity and show you how to code it. Art assets are a very important part of video games because if they look good and you can throw in a bunch of customability like different tires and different paint jobs, it's going to be really awesome and people are going to like your game more. So let's get started with the easy stuff. We only need to create one tire for each set of tires that they have because you can just throw them on the front and the back and it's going to look just good, just fine. If you want to add me up as a friend in Hill Climber 2, here is my gamer tag. You can go ahead and do that and I'll race against you. We'll see who can win. I might even film it and show who won. But anyways, let's get started creating those 2D art assets and get better at it so we can create our own and throw them into our own games. Okay, let's start creating this tire from Hill Climber 2. This is the basic tire, the original tire that you come with before you unlock any other tires. So let's get started. Let's grab this ellipse tool and let's go ahead and click and drag while holding shift so we get a nice circle. Let's grab the move tool and drag this to the center of our image. Okay, you're going to want to make sure that you have your rulers enabled, and how you do that is you just go to view and make sure your rulers are checked out right here. Okay, let's click and drag from one of the rulers to get some guides for our center point, and I misdrug on that, so I'm going to Control Z and redrag. Alright, we have a center point for our circle, and now we can create another circle. Let's actually drag a lighter gray. This is going to be the rim inside the circle. I don't know if you can see it, but it's this lighter rim right inside, right there. Before you click the center, make sure you have your ellipse tool selected again. Click the center in between the grids, hit Alt and Shift, and it will snap right to it. You know, that color is probably good enough. Let's hit OK. Okay, let's hit the circle tool one more. Actually, let's hit the ellipse tool. This elliptical marquee tool. Make sure it's the circle. And we're going to want to do the same thing. Click the center, hit Alt, Shift, and let's drag it right out so that there's a thin line for that center rim piece. Okay, that looks good enough for me. And then you can, before we go any farther, let's go ahead, right click and rasterize this layer because we won't be able to subtract the center until we do that. Let's also do that with this other layer. Go to rasterize after right clicking. Alright, and let's go ahead and delete this. And we can go ahead and select the marquee tool again, the elliptical marquee tool. Click the center, hit Alt, Shift, and we want to snap right to the edge of that. Okay, let's make sure we have the right one selected, and let's right click this time and select Layer via Cut. This will add another layer to our image, and we want to change the opacity down to 45. The opacity of the inside of the circle is pretty see-through, so that will be good enough for now. Okay, let's go ahead and grab the elliptical marquee tool again. Click the center and hit Alt and Shift, and we want to go to the outside of our circle. Okay, if you don't line it up exactly with the outside, it is totally okay. We are actually going to use the paintbrush, and let's go into paint mode. And we're probably going to want to select the color to a little bit lighter, not too light. Let's go into painting. I just like changing my paintbrushes in paint mode. It's a lot easier, it's a lot bigger. And if we go down all the way down to 45 with the spacing all the way to 0 and the size okay, that should be probably pretty good. Let's minimize it and see what we got. Go ahead and hit this donut layer, and we're going to want to lighten up the outside edge of this tire. Now, as you can see, my brush is quite big, so you want to make sure you are just outlining the tire, giving it a little bit of 3D, and not getting too carried away with it. Just keep going with this until you have a desired effect. You know, it doesn't have to be equal all the way around. It adds a little bit of dimension to the tire. Okay, now let's create the tread for this tire, and we're going to want to create a new layer, and let's go ahead and change this ellipse tool to a rectangle tool, and let's go ahead and drag out a rectangle. That is good enough for me. If you click the move tool, you can make sure it matches with the center line. Awesome. Okay, we're going to want to make sure this is rasterized so we can edit it. Before, you can see that the tread on the tire is actually darker than the outline. So I'm going to go ahead and paint bucket this. And let's make sure to select the right color. I'm going to go to Essentials and drag this down, back down to black, full black. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's right click on this rectangle that we just created. This is going to be our tread. We drag it out to about, and let's hit duplicate layer. Let's hit OK, and then let's hit Control T. Make sure we have our rotate on. So let's duplicate the layer, hit Control T again, and then we keep doing this, dragging it around like so. If you really want to get the tread precise, you would just add more guidelines. But for the most part, I think this is just going to be fine for me. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate this layer. I'm just going to keep going and doing this and just keep rotating it all the way around. Now to get this to fit right, you can shrink one of these and move it to where you want to. It's not going to be super noticeable. Let's see what we got right there. Okay, cool. Awesome. We can then go and select all of these layers and hit Shift, select them all, merge layers. Cool. And now it's all one layer. We can then go back to our marquee tool, and while this layer is still selected, we can select in the center, hit Alt and Shift, and go ahead and delete out that inside portion. Let's go ahead and drag it out and hit delete. Awesome. Okay, now our tread tires are on the outside, and we don't want that. We want them to be on the inside. So let's go ahead and drag this layer lower. Alright, what are you guys thinking so far? Is this tire looking a lot like the tire on this motorcycle? Again, another really cool thing about this tire is once you create one, you can just duplicate this sprite and use it for a back tire as well. So now all we need to do is create this inside invis, like we already have the invis layer, but there's some detail on there. So let's go ahead and start working on that. But I hope you guys see how close this tire is to the actual tire on the game. Now there's probably a lot more tread on my tire, but in order to fix this, you just make the squares a lot bigger. You make these rectangle squares a lot wider. Okay, I admit the tread is looking a bit too perfect, so you could go ahead and grab the erase tool and just run along, just run along some of the corners and go ahead and just put a little, edge on some of them. Okay, let's start creating the inside of the tire. Go ahead and create a new layer, and let's drag this up to the top because it's going to be on the very top level. And let's grab the circle tool, and let's do what we've been doing and hit click, drag, hit Alt, and then Shift, and let's go ahead and put this right about there. Let's just change this inside to a lot lighter color. So double click in there. Let's change it to sure, that gray will be fine. And then let's make sure to rasterize it so we can subtract the center. Right click. Okay, I'm gonna make a little bit of white in this circle, and then I'm gonna go ahead and grab the erase tool. Grab the brush, and then go ahead and start. Let's start erasing some of the detail around the outside. Okay, we can then grab our, let's change this to 90, just because, or even 85, just to make it a little bit lighter. Okay, let's grab the marquee tool again. Click in the center, hit Alt, and we're going to want to match it up with this gray right there. And then we're going to draw the lines in. Let's hit the paintbrush and hold, this paintbrush is too big, and then change this to 4. Okay, if you hold Shift while you draw, you can put in straight lines. If we wanted to put this light white halo on there, we just grab the marquee tool again, drag from the outside, make sure we have the right layer selected, which would be this one. This one's the one. And let's drag from the center again, Shift, highlight, and then let's put in some white. Let's go ahead and select white again, and let's make our brush, let's grab the brush and make our brush really big again, and this 111 should work good. Okay, you're not going to really be able to see this very much. It is seriously just adding a highlight to this inner circle. And if you wanted to see it more, we could change the opacity back up to like 100 and just see where this highlight is going. So let's go ahead, hit Control Z, change up the opacity back, and then let's just put in a highlight like that. Okay, if we change the opacity back down to 20 or so, you shouldn't really see it until you have a background in there, like a background image, and then it will stand out a little bit. Awesome job creating those tires and following along to the end. Thanks for watching the video. Please leave a subscribe and a like. It's going to help us out a bunch. Also, leave us a comment. We'll chat you back. You can add us up in this video game and we'll race you. We might even film it and put it on our channel. Thanks for watching again, and please subscribe. We'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Bye.